Hey, y'all. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel, and thank you for checking out the video with Lane Akin. This episode, unfortunately, will not have a video companion because, at some point during the recording, unknown to us, there was an error and it stopped recording. We did not find this out until after the episode had been completed, and we plugged everything in to find out there was a 6-minute video file, and that was it. We tried everything we could do with data recovery, and it still did not flesh out for us. So the audio will be heard here on YouTube, and it'll be a static background of the book. And that's it. Unfortunately, stuff like this happens, and obviously we're very low budget or no budget. So anyways, thanks for your understanding, and enjoy the episode with Lane Akin. See you later.
Well, folks, you found it. The most unprofessional little podcast there ever was. Ain't much else to say. Just sit back, sip on some whiskey, and be entertained. Because the Whiskey Bros are about to make love to your ears.
It's like number
520.
I think so. I think it's 521. Is that right?
Is it like 140?
Well, we're not that high
It has
yet.
been 10 years since we've started this.
Wow.
It feels like it has. It really hasn't. Now, this is 131 or 132.
Oh,
Something like
I
that.
thought we were
Somewhere in
higher.
there.
I thought we were in the higher 30s.
Have you guys ever had so much caffeine in the afternoon that you feel like you're on meth?
That's you right
That's
now.
me right now.
You got the
I couldn't even
shakes.
finish. I couldn't even finish my cup. Stopped at 7 Brew on the way in and had probably a little too much. So I won't sleep tonight.
Yeah.
I've heard that place is really good. I've heard it from multiple sources.
It's extremely popular.
Yeah.
It is. They are good if you don't like. If you want something besides just coffee,
Like an actual crafted.
It's like the
beverage.
Starbucks drinks. You know,
Okay.
like if you just don't want black coffee and you want some frou-frou drinks, if you will,
Okay.
they do make a mean sweet frou-frou drink though.
Is that what you got?
That is definitely not a frou-frou drink. That is coffee with
That's
some
just
cream.
cold brew. With
Yeah,
cream
cold brew
on
with
it.
some cream.
Yeah, but that cold brew is
It's stout.
Well,
yeah,
so cold
it's-
brew
it's
is
some
that,
supercharged
It's actually higher
gasoline.
proof than just black coffee. If you
I'm
will.
regretting my
Yeah.
decision right now.
But their cold foam that they have at 7 Brew, oh my God. I don't know where they get it, but it's glorious.
It's good.
It's from the
Good
devil.
stuff.
It's straight from the devil.
Speaking of meth,
Yeah.
we got a really cool and fun and special episode. Once again, back on the show, author. And I don't. How do we even start labeling off all of your accolades? Author, lawman, gunman.
Just say Lane, I think. Lane,
Okay, all right,
Lane is fine.
In Lane Akin is back with us, and in a retired capacity.
Yes.
Last time we spoke with you, you were
You're
still
working man.
Wise County Sheriff, and we were a little more focused on what a sheriff does for the county. This one's going to be a little more wheels off, and the focal point on this one is the book that you've had out for a little over a year now, and that we finally, after 6 to 7 months of work, concluded the audiobook version of. So this one's we're gonna get into the weeds, I think.
Well, and I tell you, I think it was a job well done.
Thank you.
And I really appreciated the opportunity I had to work with y'all on that. You know, in my mind, you guys were just reading it, but when I came in here and participated in that, it was a lot more in it than that. So it's amazing what y'all did, and I'm pretty proud of that.
We really wanted to draw
Thank you.
those characters out to flesh them out to people can relate to them, or they feel like they're in the book with them, or they're in the story.
You had some really cool accents.
Some of them, like, I can't believe I'm doing this right
Hey,
now.
no, you nailed it. You nailed it.
If you like those,
I
you
enjoyed that.
should have heard the ones we didn't use.
We have some funny clips that we had to make people pay for those. Like, if you want to hear some of the
I know.
outtakes,
It's definitely part of the vault.
they are
Right?
definitely part of the vault. But thank you for the feedback and the compliments, but it couldn't have happened without great source material and great writing. So literally, when I tell people to go to this book, like, look, we know Lane, he's associated with our county, he's a friend of friends, and everybody knows him, but like, the writing in the book is really just fucking good. Please,
That's
put aside your biases.
A great way to put it.
Put aside your biases of knowing the man and just go read and pretend like they don't know you.
Yeah.
Because it's fantastic to read those words and the stories. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, with that said, thanks for coming back on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I appreciate being here. Great seeing you guys, not only here, but when I see you out in the world, in the real world.
In the real world.
Yeah. We got to know you a lot better through this whole process, so we've been blessed to be able to do that and get to know you too. So how's life treating you after retirement?
It's better than I could have ever imagined. I was kind of drove up when I was here, I think it was February of 24,
I believe.
Right?
Yep.
Wow.
So just a week before, or a week or two before I published that book, and I was kind of antsy. The whole thing that I would be retired, because I'd been in law enforcement and working for really more than 50 years. 50 years in law enforcement, but when I was a little guy, I was shining shoes and I was mowing yards.
Yeah.
And so this is the first time, January 1st of this year, 25, that I don't have a job. And it was kind of weird, but I tell you what saved me more than anything is that I like to write. And so I've been writing. I started at the point just leading up to my retirement, and now I've started on another one. So it's most enjoyable. But I think a couple of the best things. There's so many things I can talk about. So y'all dial me back.
We're tracking. You're doing well.
The floor is yours.
So sleeping. 7 hours.
Sleeping's good for you.
7 or 8 hours a night. I always had my phone right there by my bed, and it was inevitable. There are going to be phone calls and text messages, and wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and back on the job because some knucklehead out there in Wise County barricaded himself in a closet and refused to come out. So the guys want me to be there because if they flashbang him, they want it to be my fault. They want me to say. So it was something like that constantly, and I loved work. Being the sheriff of Wise County, best job I ever had. 9 years, best job I ever had by far, and that's because of the men and women who worked at Wise County SO. And the citizens of Wise County. There's so many stories I could tell about that. But one thing that touches me the most was that Athena Strand case. Mm-hmm. The night that happened, did you know the next morning we had 300 citizens of Wise County there to help us find that child?
Search and rescue.
Yeah, that touched me to no end. And I got into a little bit of a spat with FBI.
Oh, imagine that.
They're out there. Our guys are handling the folks who are looking, trying to keep it organized. We had a lot of help putting them out there in just chest to chest, walking all of this land all around there, probably 5 miles from that house. And as FBI came up, he was I think an ASAC. Out of Fort Worth, that's assistant agent in charge.
Okay, you're probably going to have to do that more often than not on tonight's show.
So I shouldn't be telling this story, but it just pissed me off because he came out there and he said, "We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to get rid of all these people. They don't belong here." And I said, "These people are here to find this child because right now it's just a missing child." Mm-hmm. And he said, "No, we're getting rid of them." I said, "What you're going to do? You get your ass in the car and go home." Because we're not going to use you. We're going to use these citizens to look for this child. And when we can't find that child, we'll continue on with the investigation. So he did. He left. It kind of surprised me. I didn't think he'd do it, but but he did. But I'll give them this credit. They sent the SAC back, special agent in charge. Mm-hmm. Great guy. I think he was out of the Dallas office. He came up and apologized, and they pitched in and helped. And so their electronic, digital evidence was unbelievable. And so what would have taken probably 4 or 5 days, it took us maybe 2 days. So I give all the credit to the FBI for pitching in like that and forgiving me for being rude because of the citizens of Wise County and how much I think of them. And I think that I will always remember that, coming there and all of those people out there to find that child.
Yeah. Well, it was overall just a horrible situation. Nobody knows how to mentally. Everybody's vacant. Right. There's no template on really how to handle a situation like that locally. Yeah. So in that instance, do you retain scene command, or can the FBI come in and
No, of course, when you see the movies, that's what happens. The FBI comes
Right.
in and runs everybody off. But that's not the real story.
Okay.
Local law enforcement are in charge. So if it happens inside Decatur, Delvin's got it. If it's over in Bridgeport, am I pointing in the right direction?
Yes, sir.
Yep. That's that one.
So Steve is in charge.
Okay.
But in the Wise
Steve.
County,
Is he ever in charge?
oh, he's always
Always in charge.
He's always in charge.
That's a special type of charge. So
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you don't know, you're
Yeah.
actually in charge.
I like that dude.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
He's a great guy, and so the local sheriff takes care of everything else. It's not inside city limits, and sometimes the police chiefs ask us to come inside the city to work with them.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, speaking of people of Wise County, that was the first time I think I've been a part of anything like that. But the thing we had at the church,
Yes, the candle vigil.
that blew my mind.
Candle vigil.
I mean, there was
Yeah.
people parked, I think, past Boyd waiting to get in. I mean, it
Yeah.
was insane the amount of people that showed up for that.
That's just a loving hearts in Wise County.
Yeah. Yep,
It's
for sure.
this is the best place to be in law enforcement in the world, in my view, anyway.
Right.
That's a pretty big statement.
Yeah, and I've been all over the United States working in law enforcement, most of the time in Texas, but I've never seen anything like Wise County.
Outside of Texas, where were you at?
Well, I worked in Oklahoma a lot because there seemed to be, people enjoyed dumping bodies in Texas that they killed in Oklahoma, thinking that nobody will ever find out what happened. This is an Oklahoma guy. They'll never be able to figure this out. So I spent a lot of time in Oklahoma, a lot of time in Arkansas, Louisiana, and a little bit in New Mexico.
Interesting. All neighboring states then.
Yes.
Okay.
It's because the crime doesn't stay in Texas.
No, they like to push that crime across the border, thinking it's going to give them some level of secrecy.
That's state lines don't really exist.
Yeah.
What was the show? It was Yellowstone. Was it
Yes.
the train station was like on the state border where they like just ditch the body at the train
Idaho.
station in Wyoming?
It was Idaho, right?
Yeah. It was Idaho or Wyoming, one of the two. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was in another state.
It was a county that didn't have a citizen.
Yeah.
So there was no jury to
There was no-
convict
yeah.
a crime.
But they would ditch the
that was the
body
story.
in
That
a
was the
ravine
story, yeah.
where there's
Yeah.
undoubtedly like moving water at the bottom of it, and so.
Which
anyways.
I think now if people have tracked that from the show and found that
Where
actual
the
spot.
location
I bet so. It's
Yeah,
like there's no way that's actually true.
No.
I figure you'd be smelling it by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody would come across it, yeah.
There's okay, not to segue, but that happens on the show. I was watching this Instagram reel. There's a macabre ranch in Texas, and it's called a body farm. Have you ever heard of these?
Yes. The ones that I knew of were in Georgia and Tennessee. I didn't
Okay.
know they had one in Texas.
Yeah, it's southeast Texas, I believe. But have you?
No,
Have you heard of
I've never
Yep.
heard of this.
It's where I don't know if you. They're human bodies, and they're just put out on top of the earth, exposed to all the elements and animals, and they decompose there. I don't know.
They do different things. It's for what's the science behind all that? It's
Forensics.
yeah, it's
Okay.
so they'll like wrap them up in a tarp. They'll put them in a dumpster. They'll hang them in a tree. They'll do all different kinds of stuff, and then watch the body decompose to learn how long has that body been wrapped up in that carpet.
Sign me up. I
know.
Honestly.
Well, I think you actually can
Yeah.
Yeah.
sign your instead of like a organ donor, you can say let my body go to
I am
science.
all for not paying for a grave.
Right?
Seriously.
Because I think there's actually one where they use a grenade
And they blow you up
Just to
to
see.
see.
just to see what happens. Yeah,
Where do
Yeah,
they,
it's like
Where do they
research.
put the grenade?
I don't know. I don't think they put it in you.
Yeah.
They just set it beside you.
Okay, more to come on this.
Yeah, we'll have to
Once we
research.
find out something, I will be personally researching
Body
this.
farms are a real thing. I was blown away.
The Google says San Marcos
Okay,
Yeah.
so
is where
south.
it's at.
Yeah, Freeman Ranch.
Yeah,
They'll probably come get your body, pay for the shipment,
I think they do everything.
and then you don't have to pay for cremation
Could
or
you imagine
burial.
being my wife? I'm just not going to tell her.
Yeah, don't
Like,
tell
and then
her
I
that.
die, and then the van shows up. Like, we're with the body farm, and we're going to haul away your husband. He's going to be coyote fodder. So he signed the waiver. You're good to go. So we're like, what?
Which is it's pretty freaking cool if you stop and think about it, though. I mean,
That's okay. We have a friend that owns a funeral home. We don't have to talk about him, but
No.
how much does it cost to bury yourself? You know how much your kid's going to have to pay to put you in the dirt?
It gets ridiculous.
I think to bury,
yeah.
I mean, you're looking at probably these days $15,000 minimum.
See?
Yeah, I think he's right on. Like the last time we buried my grandfather, he just wanted a regular pine box. You know, they're still nice, but it was like $8,000.
Well, and you already had the gravesite bought.
Yeah, the gravesite was already
bought. If you
bought.
don't have the site bought, I think it's. I want to say it's like $10,000 just for the site.
For the 6x4.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Whatever.
Yeah. Man, we spiraled into this, didn't we?
We did.
Good Lord.
You're going to cause me some sleepless nights. Body farming.
Kind of a downer. I was hoping.
Lift it back up here.
Where did that come from anyway?
I don't know.
We get there?
Oh, you said something about bodies coming across, dumping bodies.
Yeah, getting rid of bodies.
Yeah, so it's my fault.
Yeah, it's your fault. You're the sheriff. You remember? You take some.
I'm retired now.
All right, back on point with the point. So I guess since we spiraled back to things like that, tell us about your inspiration. I know in your epilogue you kind of brushed on when the idea of the point came to light, but let's dive into that and the inspiration for the book, notes when you started compiling work.
Well, it was when I was working undercover in East Texas. That's why the setting was as it was. And there are a lot of interesting characters I came to know. Methamphetamine was relatively new to Texas at the time, and it was fascinating. So much so that I actually learned how to make methamphetamine. They sent me to school to learn about methamphetamine. But I'd be out there making a deal, and any time that you're working undercover, you start with the Dairy Queen Mafia, and you try to move up in time and get to the person who's actually responsible for the trafficking as well as the manufacturing and the chemicals, how it all came together. It was a free for all.
This is 1980s, early 80s, mid 80s.
It's probably 84, 85, something like that. I promoted to narcotics. My mom and dad didn't call that a promotion.
I bet not.
They didn't like the idea that I was going to be a narcotics agent. And so I'd go home with a beard. You know, back then it wasn't white. It was actually black. And
I feel you.
So
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you're fading. I noticed that.
I think he dyes his.
No,
I
do not.
His is bullshit.
This is my healthy living right here.
We're right here. This is aging right here. He's bullshit.
So my mom hated it that I had those whiskers and doing the undercover stuff, and she'd try to make excuses to people why I look like that. But at any rate, you get in there and you mix with those people, and when I would have those conversations, and oddly enough, back then, this is really strange when you look at what we do right now to have a trial on drug trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, it was the investigators, the undercover guys. It was his word and the drugs and the money against the bad guy. No recordings, nothing. That was it. And over time, that changed, and it takes a lot more than it did then. So I'd get home and I'd make some notes, and those notes then would turn into my report. But I hung on to those because I thought, this is something that I could cobble together at some point and make a pretty good story. So that started in the 80s. So that book took about 40 years. So it's not as if I was real quick on that. But I had all of those notes. And then as I was moving toward retirement, I thought I'm going to pull those things together and finish that story using those notes. It's based on a true story. And there was a family over in Alba, Texas.
I've heard of it. Yep.
And they were big methamphetamine manufacturers. I won't say their real name. But I suspect most of those folks who were involved, most of them went to prison, and I'm sure that most of them are dead by now because methamphetamine, you don't have a real long life after that. But it came together pretty nicely when I started making those notes, and those memories came back because of the notes. And it just all came together really just about the time that I first came here to speak with y'all, which would have been February of 2024. A little bit before that to put it together, because I told y'all here then that I was going to upload it probably in February 29th, I think is when it was.
So within a week of being on.
Yeah, so I'd been working on it, and probably just right after that, I downloaded it to Amazon. And it's an odd feeling. And I've always enjoyed writing, and I think I've told y'all this before. I wrote for the newspaper in Princeton when I was in high school. I had a column there. You know, I thought I was somebody because I had a column.
You got a column in the paper.
In the newspaper. And a lot of other things. In fact, so there was a ranger when I first promoted to ranger, and I went to Columbus. So Brian Taylor, great guy. He was in the home of Bluebell Ice Cream, Brenham. Yeah. And so he didn't like to write reports. So we would meet nighttime in a little community, you know, in the darkness, but there's one light hanging above us, and I would write his reports, but he bought the beer, you know.
Two sounds rangers. Like a good trade.
So I was writing reports for the guys, and it's an oddity that I really enjoyed writing reports. And all the other rangers looked at me like I was crazy. You know, we got to be out here in a fist fight or chasing somebody or getting in a gunshot, getting some kind of gunfight. And I wanted to write reports.
Why do you think that was?
I don't know. My mother was a teacher, and that may have a lot to do with it, because she was always nipping at me to do anything other than being a narcotics agent. So I'm sure she didn't appreciate that much. But when I finally put it all together, and I knew that I was going to upload it, I mean it was exhausting because I had no idea if people were going to like it. And I was afraid nobody would buy it. And then I was afraid they wouldn't like it. And so as time went on, you know, it seemed as though people liked it.
I would say so.
And so I had somebody flag me down just today, say, hey, I loved your book. So, you know, that I just really enjoy that. And with the help of y'all, we got the audio version. Man, that's been a big deal. And to me, I've heard from several, that's much more enjoyable than my book. So
just listening to it instead of like reading it themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's personal taste, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is, but then also it almost is a bad chunk on us, because I think the reason why people like it better is we're a little lazy now.
Well, okay.
A lot of us like just sit down and read anymore. You know?
Yeah,
but you're still reading it. You're still intaking all the words and everything.
Well, you do and you don't, because like what I've noticed is, and I won't do it with certain stuff, is like sometimes I'm out on the mower and I'll throw the earbuds in and I'll put an audiobook on. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, because sometimes I just get lost in mowing and I'm brain dead. You know, I'm just mowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm not really paying attention to what's coming through my ears.
Yeah.
But then the opposite also happens.
It will sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, you're not paying attention to the mowing. You're
just trying to really pay.
Yeah. Next thing you know, your mow lines are a little
lines are crooked. But
and so if you think about all the people living here, and you see the traffic going toward Fort Worth every morning, weekday. Yeah. So those are the people who like to listen to the audiobook.
We are a society on the move, and that's I mean, that's not even those people. It's hell, I can verify it's farmers too, or sitting on equipment, or construction workers on equipment. Yeah, it's got their earbuds in and they're listening to their podcast or the audiobook or the news, whatever.
Yeah,
which is ironic, because you know it's a full circle. Like radio and audio entertainment was the start of like the modern industrial, like modern technological revolution. Like it all started with radio drama, broadcast, and then we evolved into television, moving pictures, and everything. And now it's like I wonder. I would really like to see the data on how many things are listened to in just audio form versus visualized and seen on screen.
Sure. It's like written form is becoming shorter and shorter context. It's just the text message. That's what you read.
Or visually, if you're looking for visual entertainment, it's no longer like you still go to the theater, there's still movies, blah blah blah, but it's on your phone. It's short, short segments.
Yeah.
You're just scrolling through it and you forget about it. You know, a few minutes later, it's gone.
But can I tell you what this experience has changed within me? Okay. So in preparation for this audiobook, we decided, okay, we're going to read this book, but whenever we read it at home, we're going to read it out loud. So it's like practicing for recording the audiobook. One thing that became readily apparent right away was that engaging with the story by reading it aloud, I had never known to read that way, except for preparing for this audiobook. And so now in my household, we read everything aloud when we're reading as a family. So not as a family. If my daughter's in her room reading something, she's going to read it aloud. If I read every day, but I read it aloud. And so that's probably the best way, I think. I'd love to see the data on this. That's the best way to read something, is to actually purchase the book and read it, just like we did for the audio version.
What if you're a person sitting alone in a coffee shop and you're just in the corner with the book? Just
read the book aloud. Read it aloud.
Everybody's like, what is wrong with this dude?
So my daughter and I, we sit out. We live in an addition, so we have people all around us now on these like little quarter-acre lots. But we sit outside in the backyard, and we'll hear our neighbors over there. But we read aloud. Yeah, just knowing they can hear us.
Are they reading aloud as well?
No, we haven't. It hasn't,
you
it hasn't
may get
seeped
that
over.
started,
Yeah.
So that's exactly what my wife talked about, and I used to go to her classroom when she was teaching here in Decatur, 6th grade, the old building right there where the old gym is. And, and I'd go in there and listen to her, and she could read to those kids, and they were just mesmerized. And it was just amazing to hear the way. And even now, when she reads aloud, it's so meaningful. So that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. But if you don't have time, just purchase the audiobook.
Yeah, let somebody read it for you.
Yeah. You got your hour commute every single day.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
Great thing for that.
Some of those chapters, like, resolved out to an hour or so. I know chapter 1 and 2 were pretty.
I got chastised by somebody about that. Who I don't remember.
I couldn't imagine who that might be.
So I never had that. I never thought about that when I was writing the book, that the chapters should be a little more similar in length. And so in the one that I just finished, I guess we can talk that later. But so the one that I just finished, I really worked to keep those chapters about the same length.
His voice, your poor wife, man, your editor-in-chief is like, who is this person giving you other? Is there a little jealousy that might be going on between some rivalry editors here?
No, I don't think so. I think she appreciates it because she knows I'm a handful, and there's a lot of things we got to get done on that deal.
Well, so here's the big question. We have a lot of big questions tonight, but here's the big question. And a lot of people have asked me that in person because they knew the work we're doing on the book. And there's a lot of people that want to know how much of this book is based on actual real life events.
It's all based on true stories.
Okay.
And I would say that probably the fiction it kind of binds things together. The fiction does, because sometimes I'll take one story and put it with another story. So I would say probably 75% or so is truth. And it's so much, of course, it's one of the things when I was taking the writing courses in college, that you write what you know, which is exactly why it came together, because all of those stories happened to me and or to some of my buddies in DPS narcotics. So I'd say a solid 75% true stories. Now I changed the names,
locations.
Well, the locations to some extent. It's all in East Texas.
Okay.
But change the name of the town, and plus, the whole thing, because there's part of that we've got a little bit of corruption in the sheriff's office.
We're going to get to that.
And that is a true story as well, but I changed the sheriff's office.
Okay.
So that it wouldn't cause any problems.
But if you know, you know.
It wouldn't, and it wouldn't be hard to figure it out. Yeah.
Along with that question, how much of you is in this book?
A lot.
Okay.
And I hate to say that because I had 2 children at the time, and I was working constantly. I didn't have anybody watching me, didn't have any surveillance. I was just out there amongst the dopers doing the deals, and giving them the money, taking the dope, taking it to the lab, and taking them to court, putting them in jail. So it was, and back then they didn't pay overtime.
Yeah, but it sounds like you were pretty passionate to what you were doing.
I was. I really thought, and we talked about this before, I really felt that we were making a difference, that because methamphetamine was killing and destroying families. So I was all about doing everything I could to stop it. We were fighting a battle, but we were losing that battle. So a lot of me was that I would work 90 hours a week with 2 children. And it was before Kay started teaching, because the children were very young. One was about 3, the other one was about 1 or 2. So she was on her own, and I'm kind of ashamed, really, of that I spent so much time involved. We lived in a little community in East Texas that was gated, and Hideaway Lake is what it was. And so whenever I left a deal, I'd watch through my rearview mirror to make sure it wasn't being followed. And then I'd go through that gate into where our house was at Hideaway Lake. It's right on the north side of I-20, right there close to Lindale. And I'd always be watching my rearview mirror to make sure somebody's not following me.
That's an angle I'd not thought. You had to live in your own state of paranoia to a degree, because at any time somebody could have outed you. I never thought of it from that approach. Yeah,
so I was stationed in Tyler, but I was working a little bit further away from Tyler. There were a couple of times that I crossed paths with folks that I've been doing other deals with and was able to talk my way out of it. One time I was at the airport, but that's
a big metropolitan airport.
It was Love Field.
Okay, all right. I
ran into someone while I was doing a cocaine deal. Back then, you could walk right up to the gate. You didn't have to go through. And so I was doing a deal with a guy who flew up from the valley of Texas, and a guy from church saw me, and I thought, oh no, and he had eye lock on me, and I'm sitting there right next to this guy on a bench, on the jetway, where people, not jetway, but the corridor that goes to the gates. And I'm talking to this guy, and he makes eye contact, and he knew what I did, but he didn't stop. So he said, "Hey, Lane, hey." And so he jumped up, and I jumped up and went up, shook his hand, and I said, I can't really talk to you right now. I'll talk to you when I get back to Tyler. And so when I sat back down with this guy, he said, "I thought your name was Joe."
Uh-oh.
I said, it is Joe. My last name is Lane. And so he bought it because he was hungry for the money. So there's so many of those little things that come back when I start talking about the undercover days. But I was gone way too much. I should have been a better father. I should have been a better husband. I'm glad that they've forgiven me of that, and I do almost every day trying to make it up, especially to Kay, because I was gone so much. Kind of ashamed of that, but a lot of me, and it's an odd thing when I read back through that book, the point. Sometimes and it's kind of odd. I'll tear up we got that
a few times. Even we remarked I could read your words, and then we would go back and re-record it, because I'm like, I feel like this is either a message or an apology in some way that you're putting pen to paper with. But yeah, we picked up on that.
But so one thing I want to clarify, though, so
I know what it is.
So when Kay got to that part, my wife, also known as the CLO, Chief Life Officer, and EIC, Editor in Chief. So
she wears many hats.
Yeah, oh yeah,
and just overall fantastic woman and wife.
Yeah, she is, and so she got to that part of the book. I mean, she really liked that book, but she got to that part and won't say anything because maybe people will read it.
Figure out a way to tiptoe around it.
And so she put that book down. She looked at me, and I said, "It's fiction." and so she allowed me that moment of wisdom.
I got to say, man, that there's like the book is like, hardcore, gritty law enforcement, but it's also pretty spicy and juicy too.
Yeah.
You got all the elements in there.
You even have some subtle elements that are not spicy and juicy, but in the background there's some spice and juice to it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Ladies, this is a spicy and juicy book. You're gonna like it. Trust me. Dudes, you're also gonna like it.
Yeah.
No, man, I could. Oof, I bet was that how long did it take to temper those flames from her?
Well, I got cold shoulder for maybe a couple hours, and then I assured her it was, and there are a lot of ways I could explain it to her that never happened.
This is the 25%.
Yeah.
That is,
I feel like you should say. So you have a long marriage where you've learned to temper cold shoulders in a few hours.
Yeah. Pretty much, but it's hard because we live in 700 square feet, so it's a little bit easier. I can go out in the barn and out in the pasture and do okay.
You got your methods,
but she knows. We've been married 53 years, and it's been a solid marriage. But I love to write.
Yeah. So where do you write?
Well, I write inside that 700 square feet in the bedroom. I've got a desk in the bedroom. Kay goes into the den, or she's outside working or something. But we're going to build a house, and that's coming up pretty soon. We hope to break ground maybe this month. And I've got an office upstairs.
Nice.
Oh.
Your own personal space.
It's not a big space, but about 1,800, maybe 2,000 square feet. So.
Wait, this is your office space?
No. That's the whole house.
I'm like, that's a pretty sizable office.
And so I don't know that if y'all notice this, but when I was here as a ranger, when I would come home, usually it was if I didn't have to spend the night somewhere else, I'd come home.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'd come home and then get up and go again. But have you noticed when you come into Wise County, you can see that courthouse from any direction you come in.
It is a beacon.
Well before you get here. So when we sold our house in Decatur and moved out to this land, but that's because I can see the courthouse from there. And that office, I can see the courthouse. And that's because I want to look at that courthouse and think, I'm home. Mm-hmm. So it just gives me a little bit of peace seeing that courthouse.
Sure.
I've seen it coming in from Lubbock, from Denton, from coming to Oklahoma.
It's an icon of sorts.
Yeah, I love it. I really do. I'm just kind of magnified by it.
What is that icon? What is that icon? Like, what's the?
It's home. It's the icon in my mind for home.
Very symbolic.
Not necessarily my family, but it does tell me that I'm coming to my family.
Yeah.
So we had 2 children here, and they've grown and gone away, Fort Worth and Tarrant County. So I like the idea that I'm going to be able to see the courthouse, and that's where I'll do my writing then.
Okay.
The new and improved courthouse.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should mention that.
October 23rd.
Yeah.
Is that official?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the
It's
grand opening.
Almost a year past due. Is that what it was? It 2024 December?
Yeah, I was sure hoping they would open that before I retired, but it didn't happen.
Hopefully Judge Clark will give us all. Maybe we can get a group tour when I'll do lunch with him.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. Judge Clark. Clark.
You're up.
Well, he told me. JD told me, he said there's going to be uplights on that thing.
Yeah.
So that'll be even better, I'll be looking out. I'm not going to be drinking anything, but looking out the window.
So how do you write? Do you write during the day or at night?
I really enjoy working first thing.
Okay.
Because I'm clearer. And then this book that I just finished, which I'll tell you the title of it is Texas Ranger, Wise County. And it's pursuit of a serial killer, and it's the same people that are in the book
point
that we have in the point. So so the same people are in there, but they get tied up with a serial killer, again based on true stories. Where was I going? What was your question? I'm going.
Yeah. How do you write? You said first thing in the morning.
Yeah, first thing in the morning. So I'm probably it took me 8 months. Where the other one was 4 months. This was just 8 months. So I'll probably spend about 3 or 4 hours every morning writing. And when I get up from there and go out to mow or try to chop some cedar, try and get rid of those damn things.
That's
I need some help. Is anybody out there help me with cedar? So it just really, when I'm out there working, I'm thinking constantly what I need to write, what I need to do next time, and all of it. And I put about 3 or 4 different stories together to make just like I did with The Point.
Okay, in that scope, and why is it now that's the opportune time for you to have released The Point? Why not 10 years ago, or is it retirement related, or is it? Do you feel like it is an appropriate time in the timeline of society and humanity?
Well, so I marketed it with a few friends, and they told me what a great book it is. But you never really know. Friends want to tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah,
and
you don't have no friends like me then.
Yeah.
Well, I tell these two all the time what they don't want to hear.
Well, I do. So I can talk about a guy who can tell you who's quick to tell me exactly what's on his mind. But
his name is not Sam, is it?
No, it's Tim. His name is Tim. Sam. Yeah, Sam was a good guy too.
Yeah, I love that character.
So, I tried, and I sent it to a few folks who do the publishing. And that's before I knew about how you could self-publish. So I ended up hooking up with a guy here who has sold a few books himself, and Waylon Long, if you don't mind me saying the name.
No, not at all. Great dude. So great family.
So Waylon, I gave him the book. Yeah, probably about 2 months before I came and sat with you guys. And about a week later, I get a call from him. He said, "You got to do something with this. You got to do something with this." And so he gave me directions on how to do it. And so I just did it myself rather than trying to find somebody out there who's in the business of that, and just self-published. So that's why it took so long.
Okay. Has Waylon given you any feedback on the audio version? Has he heard it?
I don't know if he has. He's pretty excited about it. I told him that y'all were going to do it.
Well, when we first started talking about this project, it was we were on the bleeding edge of, okay, do you narrate it, self-narrate? Waylon self-narrated all of his.
Yes.
Or do we do it and try to capture what you have written? So I'm curious to see, since Waylon's a fan of the book, how he is also a fan of the audio.
It may be. I think he's already written 4 books.
Yeah.
And I've read probably 3 of them. They're very well done, and they're set in this vicinity.
Okay.
Fort Worth, Wise County, and I think four counties. There are a couple other, Wise County, and he does a really good job. Very enjoyable. It's a lot about horses and cowboys. But he's still writing, but he's writing back in the 1880s rather than now.
Interesting.
But when I hear these voices, you guys, I don't have the voice to do what y'all do. So I'm so pleased the way that it sounds. I think y'all sound a lot better than I do. I'm glad.
There was a lot of cracking the whip by this dude.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, he can be an asshole.
So yeah. Well, no, I can imagine that. I can kind of see
a perfectionist.
I can kind of see that, but it's we were sitting in here when you Chance said, "Hey, how about giving us a shot at that?" And it got stuck in my head, like so many things get stuck in my head and they don't go away.
I know. And then you called me, and I got nervous. You were like, "I think I want to have you do the book." I'm like, "Oh, shit."
We did not know what we were doing.
Oh, God, he said yes. What do we do now?
Yeah. So it just took me about 4 or 5 months to make that decision. And I was out mowing, and I'm standing outside after I've been mowing when I called you.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So all your epiphanies and your thoughts are...
Pretty much when I'm mowing or driving. I just really enjoy that. But I can't imagine it come out any better.
Well, thank you. That's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
Thank you. And hopefully, it's the start of a legacy for us too. I mean, it's something that you've left. You're leaving your work behind. One day we'll leave our parts of the work behind too.
It has definitely been a path of discovery.
Yeah,
the whole way.
Yeah, but this is
still.
It's still. Oh yeah, it's ongoing. Like my philosophy is, you got to learn something every day. Otherwise, you're just not living. But it's something that we can retire into as older men and still do. Unless my voice fails me or whatever. I don't know how often that happens. It could happen, but
could happen.
Yeah, so I was thinking about taking up smoking, so it's my voice would sound a little better. But Kay didn't think that was a good idea.
She didn't like that, huh?
that was the thing, though. Like back in the mid-century, everybody that was in radio or television, those dudes were like 4 packs a day in cigarettes, but they had iconic voices.
Yeah,
even Rush Limbaugh, he had an iconic voice, but he was a major smoker, and he smoked cigars too. But okay. The subtitle, The Dawn of the Texas Meth War.
Hey, it's the Whiskey Bros here. We just wanted to take a break out of the podcast to remind our listeners about Cannon Property Management and Cannon Realty. They are your sure shot for all things real estate. You know you could trust them because they've been Whiskey Bro fact-checked and verified 100%. Clyde approved.
So what you wrote the note.
Yeah.
What does that phrase capture about that time in Texas history?
Well, methamphetamine manufacturing was relatively new. It probably came in late 70s, but it really started sprouting about, especially in East Texas, which was the hub of the methamphetamine manufacturing, the labs. So they started popping up everywhere at about that time. So that was the dawn of the fight against methamphetamine.
So this stuff, lore says this stuff got started in like World War II, Germany and Japan.
Exactly. But it came to Texas probably in late 70s, early 80s.
I wonder how. Like how did that bridge get built?
You know, it's a complicated process with all the chemicals that they use and how they go about mixing those chemicals. And if you don't do it right, you're going to burn your ass up.
Yeah.
So it's a tough group, but they studied that. And so that's why they sent us to a school in Austin to learn how to make methamphetamine so we know what's going on. So back then, if you didn't catch the methamphetamine when all the precursors, they had to all have mixed so it had actually turned into methamphetamine. If you roll up there and you just got the chemicals, you don't have anything. So it really made it difficult to make sure you hit that lab at the right time. It was 36 hours is what we estimated. So when they first started, so you don't really know when they start. With meth heads, you don't know what they're doing.
No way. Yeah.
Because they have no common sense, no sense of time.
They're just skittering about all the time.
And don't give a rat's ass what's going on around the world. So that's when it really started happening. And then the laws changed over time. So you could do the precursor. If you got precursors, it's methamphetamine. It's good enough for them. So it changed over time. Of course, then we talked about this the last time I was here, that methamphetamine had gone to Mexico because the U.S. government controls acetic acid, not acetics.
Phenylacetic acid.
C2P.
Yeah,
we had to say that a few times.
Phenylacetic acid, yeah. So it all went to Mexico.
And that was the precursor.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the main precursor.
Okay.
So prior to meth, it's like meth was the first of its kind on the illegal drug scene. Is that right?
Well, no, I wouldn't say, because it goes back to the opioids.
Okay.
Was the first stuff, I would imagine, because that goes back probably to biblical times.
Yeah.
From the poppies. So that was a different deal. But
so heroin was around.
Yeah, again from the poppies.
Yep. Okay. And
so late 70s, early 80s. Why East Texas? Why because you say it came to Texas
because
mainly.
With the piney woods, and you could get secluded. There weren't a lot of law enforcement guys out there, and they thought we'll do that out there rather than doing it on the plains or in Dallas or in Fort Worth. And every now and then they'd pop up a little methamphetamine operation in Fort Worth, but they usually weren't too big because the smell goes off, and then they know right away, because usually it's the ether and phenylacetic acid that you can smell, and they say, "Oh, we know what that is."
Yeah.
I've heard it's very distinct, but I don't think I've ever smelled a cook. I've smelled ether, that what comes out of like starting fuel. Is it similar to that?
It is.
Okay.
It is, but the so many times the guys I never really captivated. I was never really captivated by their comment that it smells like dirty socks.
Socks, interesting.
Dirty socks.
Okay.
And that didn't make sense to me, and I didn't really smell that, but it was really difficult. And so if you end up in one of those labs, it'd really burn your nostrils up. And EPA got involved in it, and so it all changed too, because we were probably all killing ourselves being in there.
Just walking through there.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so it begs the question, did you ever try it?
No,
Okay.
I would not.
We did have the revelation that you went to jail last time we were here, so I was curious.
Yeah, that was for Coors Light, though.
A little milder.
Yeah, and I was 14. I was an idiot, but it wasn't my fault either. No, and that's a really good question. I appreciate that, because I'll tell y'all a little story. When I first went to Tyler, I was straight out of highway patrol. Just started growing my whiskers out, trying to hair over a little bit, not to look like a highway patrol trooper. And I went out with one of the narcotics agents, and he starts telling me how you use drugs with these people. Mm-hmm. And I'd never smoked a cigarette, and I couldn't figure out how I'm going to participate in taking drugs with these people and then sit in the witness chair and say that they're the bad people when I would be involved in that. So I was offered several times, and in fact, I guess it's the next book I think that's in, because sometimes they would expect you to participate with them, to have a little line of that, see what you think. And I always declined it. And the whole thing was, if you had a pocket full of money, they didn't care.
They didn't actually care if you participated.
Yeah, so they'd throw that at me. I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm buying this for other stuff. If you get to using this stuff, you're not going to make any money. I'm not going to do that with y'all, so I'm out of here. If you want the money, let me know. You can page me. And so anytime you turn to leave, no, it's okay, because they want that money.
Yeah.
So and there's a guy I want to give some credit to, because when I was out with that agent who was telling me how to use drugs, I got home that night and slipped in the sheets next to Kay, and I was looking at the ceiling thinking, I can't do this. This is not what I'm built for. I'm not going to use drugs in order to catch people. I'm just not going to do it. And so I had in my mind that I'm going to go in the next morning and I'm going to tell my lieutenant that I don't want to do it. I'm going to bust back to highway patrol, which was my intent. So I walked into my lieutenant's office, and I sat down and I said, I need to talk to you. And he wore those half glasses, and he threw them down on his desk. And what is it, Akin? I said, well, I don't think this is for me. I don't want to work with these people who have got to be using drugs. And his eyes kind of lit up a little bit. He said, I got somebody coming today for you to work with. And it's a guy whose name is David Beasley. He lives right now over around Quitman. And he did it the right way. He told me, if you got the money, you got the word, you got the informant, you don't use drugs.
Yeah. Because you could have easily given into, just to keep your cover, given into their demands at any time.
Yeah, so, and I'm proud of that, that I never, and even to this day, I've still not smoked a cigarette. So David Beasley changed my entire career, because we went out and started doing some deals together, and he told me all about how to do it, how to make them want that money, because it's ego, it's greed more than anything.
Yeah.
And that really worked very well, and I never had to turn back on that.
Wow.
I never had a single person say, I'm not going to sell to you because you won't use it. They try it.
Yeah.
But when you walk away, okay, come back.
Come back, bring the money. That probably translates into everyday business communication, everyday life.
Yeah.
Well, it's true, and the narc law enforcement community is kind of a sketchy community, and that can't, they can't help it, right? How did you know any guys that ended up getting hooked?
Yes, I knew several, and it is mentioned in the book.
Yeah.
And it was sad that it turned that way. A lot of guys lost their jobs, over the use of that or abuse of women that they crossed paths with who may have been informants. So it was a tricky world that you're tempted in many, many ways.
Okay, well, this is an opportune moment to segue into, like, you touch on the term corruption a lot in the book, and I guess let's broaden that out and talk about it and how much you had to deal with it, and even to modern day, how much it still goes on. The brief dialogue I had with you last time was like, I really wish law enforcement was pay them as much as doctors and lawyers, because you're given a license to kill on a whim, right? You're given a license to take somebody's life in an instantaneous judgment. So, we hope we have the best of the best in the field for that reason, and so they don't get corrupted, because there's not a lot of money that gets made in law enforcement, I don't think.
Well, I think that is a problem, but it shouldn't be a matter of money, because you signed up, you had an oath, you wear the badge, you carry the gun, you represent your citizens, and they've got to be able. If you can't be trusted by your citizens, you're in a world of hurt, regardless of what the pay is. If the pay's not good enough here, go somewhere else, which is what we had a trouble with quite a lot here, because the Metroplex paid them a lot better than we could pay them, because Commissioner's Court never really paid them what I thought they should be paid. But that's another story altogether. We battled those things up until August every year, and that was a tough time. But as a ranger and as a narcotics agent and as a trooper, I saw things that I knew was not correct.
Texas Rangers are designated as like the law enforcement institution that goes after corrupt law enforcement officials, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're responsible. The Rangers are responsible for that. Of course, there's a little bit of a process to get to the point that you may do an investigation on a elected official. And so when I was sheriff, and I grew up in Rockwall, and so we won't have to look that up now, so we can talk. So I went back to Rockwall as a Texas Ranger after I was a narcotics agent. The sheriff there at that time, back in the late 80s, early 90s, was corrupt in a major way. And we ended up putting him in his own jail, and he was convicted. So, and then the same thing happened in Tarrant County at about the same time. The sheriff in Tarrant County was also corrupt, and we put him in his own jail. So it seems to me, and I've been around sheriff's office since I was just a kid, in Rockwall. I'd go up there with sheriff's office. It was in the upper floors of the courthouse there in Rockwall. I'd go up there and bang on their door and talk to them, and they'd hold me up so I can see the prisoners inside the jail. But as time went on, I recognized that guy too was corrupt. I think it was the norm back then. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think what we have now, because of TCOL, Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, there was no such thing back then. I think it really holds their feet to the fire. And you've got a better group of people, because not just anybody. Back then, just anybody put on the badge. They might not even had any training. Yeah. So it's gone to a higher level. Okay. And I think that we can be proud of our men and women in law enforcement now. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to take what you just said and try to extract it even more. So corruption's not a function of money.
Not always.
Okay. So what fuels corruption?
Well, it's because it's power, and that's one of the things that I talk about over and over and over again. We're not talking about power. We're talking about responsibility. There's a big difference between power and responsibility, and because you're in a position of power, you don't have to follow the law. Some of them have thought over time. I hope there probably are, but I don't think that's something we're going to see very often in Texas anymore. So it's the power, and money is part of it.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then we have up here, one of the essential parts of the book is kind of this idea of what happens between partners stays between partners.
Yeah.
Okay. So does that idea, is that a code to protect justice, or is it also kind of protects corruption? Or it's like, okay, how? I don't know. That's a tough one.
Digging himself
That's a tough
hole.
one. Yeah, I am. I am.
So I know there are a couple of spots in there. And of course, there's the one sheriff's office that's in question, but you also have a couple of rangers who sometimes are not so much doing the right thing. They're doing what they think in their heart is right, and I've seen that over time. Mm-hmm. And so the words that you see that are written there, that's true. Those things happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we've gotten away from that, and so the other one were partners, and that partner in that part of the book is a dear friend of mine, and he's just got out of the hospital, but he was rough and tumble, and I think the world of him. I really do. He pushed things to the edge.
This be the character John?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And he knows that it's him in the book. In fact, I just was visiting with him in the hospital just a couple of days or so ago, and he's going to be in the next book too. But as you mature, you realize that hey, these people have got to come to the courthouse under proper circumstances, rather than doing some of the nonsense that you saw there.
That's was an essential idea in the book.
So that I'm kind of out there in that. I don't know. Did I answer you on that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. And I'm going to try to tie this in later on.
Yeah.
But just the idea that corruption's a function of power, not necessarily a function of money.
In the ideal world, how do you, outside of like state oversight committees and state oversight institutions, how do you, as somebody who was ingrained in local law enforcement, how do you bring on personnel and hire that would be untouchable?
Well, with the process, and of course, polygraph helps a lot, as well as the background investigation. Make sure their background is clean, do an interview, do written tests. I mean, it's pretty rigorous to get somebody to the point that they can actually be hired, because if they have a history in another agency, we're going to talk to them, or at least when I was sheriff. And so that's in the past tense, I guess, more than anything. But and then, so you've got a person here who's done a good job in the past, or maybe they may be straight out of the police academy. They passed the polygraph. We've got a background. We know where they went to high school. We knew what sports they played, and so we got a pretty good lead on those folks. And we have people that's all they do is just do the background investigations. So we have a pretty good idea. We've got a good starting point with someone. And you got to make sure that the folks within the agency are righteous, because if not, you can end up causing problems with that youngster who thinks, rather than David Beasley, it's that other guy telling you how to conduct business.
Give him bad advice. Yeah. So this corruption subject scales out all the way to like federal level.
Yes.
Or congressmen, senators.
Oh, yeah.
No way.
All the way.
No way.
Yeah. I mean,
Really?
some of their net worths are a little higher than what they make all of a sudden, But then when you zoom it back in, if you've lost that trust in your local law enforcement institution, that's not good, man. That's the kind of the end of your town.
Well, it is. It's the end of your career too, and because if you lose trust, it takes a long time, and you may not ever get it back.
Yeah.
So that was near and dear to me throughout. And one of the things that I harped on the whole time, those 9 years, is trust. We've got to have the trust of the citizens. There'll be things that get put on social media that are not true, which disappoints me, but it happens time and time and time again.
That's possible to put something on social media that's not true.
It's I think my job would have been a lot easier without social media.
Oh, yeah. Everything.
It would have been.
Yeah.
Life in general.
That leads to another question. Do you think the perception of law enforcement has changed more because of crime trends, or because of like cultural media shifts?
Well, I think it's a geographical thing.
Okay.
I think for the most part in Texas, I don't know about Dallas and Houston, Austin.
Yeah. Austin. Denton.
Yeah, so it kind of depends, because the vast majority of good citizens in Texas are all about their law enforcement guys. I had a chance to be a firefighter. It would have been a lot easier. In fact, I was a firefighter, and then I became a police officer.
Okay, in hindsight, thank God you weren't.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Because the world needs you in positions that you have been in your entire life. That's just a simple fact. So thank God you weren't.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It was an honor, truly, to be sheriff right here in Wise County.
Drug trafficking in America. How's it changed over the years, and what's the future of it, and combating it?
Well, I am most impressed of the technology that's out there right now. Mm-hmm. Did you see how they blew up that boat?
Yeah, we did.
I did not.
Did you see that?
Have not seen this.
He hasn't seen it yet. I'm gonna have to look it up while y'all are talking.
Okay,
so this
happened?
We just roped in like 3 of our bullet points here. We got like advancement of technology because of what you've had to combat for the last 40 years, and then you know how it, from the bad guy's perspective and what their enterprise is, how it advances, and then how law enforcement combats it, and then Venezuela. So let's talk about how drug trafficking and combating it looks, and I'm going to look up a video while you're running us through that. You know,
I've never seen law. Of course, that's really not law enforcement. I guess that's the defense of it's not the defense. It's the war.
Well,
War Department now.
They've deemed them terrorists.
Yes. So
we can blow their boats up.
So I really liked that. It excited me. Kay wasn't all that excited about it, but the fact that they had this dope coming across, most likely methamphetamine.
Yep.
I would imagine it could have been fentanyl. Mm-hmm. But they just torpedoed that thing. That's amazing. Yeah, it's over. 11 of them are gone, and I celebrated that.
Yeah.
Because that's where the problems are coming from. It's coming from Mexico or Venezuela.
Mm-hmm. This completely circles back to the conversation that John was having with Dan. It's like, you have the opportune time to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we could, and I think we're doing it. So last time we were in here, I was pretty upset because the border was open when I was here.
That situation was alight.
Yeah,
it was hot.
Who's the best source here?
Which I still don't know if it's not open. I think it's somewhat closed more than it used to be, but that's what's weird about our world we live in is it's a big topic until it's not, and then you just don't hear it.
Just don't hear about it.
Like it literally could be the exact same.
Yes.
And none of us know the difference.
And you don't know where to get information from.
No.
About said topic.
Tonight, the White House releasing this dramatic video of the U.S. blowing up a boat in the Southern Caribbean. President Trump says it was carrying drugs from Venezuela, and that the strike killed 11 members of the notorious gang Tren de Aragua, or TDA.
Well, that guy hit the pronunciation just right.
Into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came
I love how they
Venezuela.
repeat it.
We took it out.
Last month, the Pentagon deployed 3 guided missile destroyers to international waters.
Okay, so I can see where a critique of this ability would come from.
We've already heard it. Well, they didn't have due process, and we just committed an act of war.
Just out, like, riding their boat around.
True. I don't think that's the case. But
well, it's not, and that's what people don't understand. As soon as they deemed it terrorists, the whole due process thing goes out the window.
Well, and they've already committed their product and their efforts have already been an act of war against us, killing our people on our streets.
And I think it was either today or yesterday. They some lady interviewed Trump, or during a press conference, asked him something about are you gonna be blowing up any more Venezuela boats, or are we going to war? And he goes, "Don't worry, you'll find out."
So the last time I was here, I didn't have much hope. But after seeing that, I've got hope. That maybe, because Mexico and China don't give a rat's ass about the United States other than the money that it brings and or the deaths that they're bringing to us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I think we're in a better place now than we were a year ago.
That's encouraging that you think so.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially everyone in this room raising young children, grandchildren.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, because they're at any given moment, they can be approached by somebody and completely influenced in the negative way too. So you don't know. So federal, what would you call that? Federal operations helps out, I guess, with the combating of and having what's the word? Not just your local, but everybody's on board, right?
How's that hole feel?
I know. I'm trying to think of how I'm trying to phrase this, but it's not just like, Texas is enforcing their laws while you have New Mexico and Arizona with an open border policy. Well, they just moved their product on down the road.
It's like state of marijuana in the U.S. right now, but it's not like that.
Right.
What is the state of marijuana in the U.S. right now? Because
every state kind of decides for themselves. And then it's confused.
I see what you're saying, but this is like opioid trafficking, fentanyl, and whatever else. If the federal government's on board with enforcement, then it's across the nation. You get border control across the nation, not just one state or two states.
You get it before
whatever.
it gets here, is the hope. And they are. I mean, and that's what's crazy is you don't see this on media, but I've seen it through my outlets and stuff. But I mean, I'm talking about cargo ships full of it.
Yeah,
that they've stopped before the whole blow up your boat thing. I'm talking about ships upon ships, just pallets upon pallets, full
of dangerous stuff coming in
that they've captured. So I mean, and I think they just recently sunk a sub, also. So
yeah, we're in a better place
for sure.
Yep. Okay, and the efforts some of the southern state governors put out there to take care of moving illegal immigrants north so they could get a little taste of our medicine, I think made a pretty big impact too.
Yeah, it did.
As awful as it sounded, it was like, no, these people get a taste of what southern states have to deal with all the time. Have you seen the video? It was a doctored video, but it was the governor of Illinois. I got to find it because you got to see it. It's hilarious. But Illinois is, they're obviously pushing back against anything that the Trump administration or federal government does.
Fairly, what are you saying? They're liberal?
A little bit.
I'm liberal.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What? I don't get it.
I don't know how to do this.
Technology.
I want to put it on the screen. Yeah, technology.
I call my granddaughter.
Yeah,
the IT specialist.
I was going to say, we'll go get one of the kids.
Yeah.
They're usually pretty good about that. Well, while he's looking that up, so tell us, now that your book is done and you're already starting on the second one, what was the good, bad, and the ugly of if there was any about the book, and then also if there was anything that you would change now that you have done all that.
So you're talking about the second book that the editors got right now?
Yeah. So what I mean, the first one. So what was the good, bad, and ugly of the book writing?
The point.
Yeah.
Well. It was a little bit difficult, and I knew that, and I tried to do something with some folks out there who would help me to publish it. There was absolutely no help because I was a nobody, and which is okay with me. I'm pretty comfortable being there as a nobody.
Same.
So that was really, really tough. But that whole thing that you can upload it to Amazon, I think it took care of that, and which is what I'm going to do with this next one.
Yeah.
I've looked around and talked around, thought about maybe we could do something else to go a different direction. But I think all in all, it's been an enjoyable deal, and I really am excited on the fact that something that took 40 years earlier took 8 months,
right?
And it'll be ready to go to Amazon probably by October.
Nice.
Wow. That's pretty quick.
So did I answer your question?
Yeah. No, that's what we were just wanting on the whole thing. Was there any bads to it necessarily? Or
no, not really. And I think the whole thing about retirement, having this to write, I love it so much that it's made retirement really more enjoying. Because of looking forward to that every morning.
Right.
When I walk into the office, when I was sheriff's office, when I walk into the office knowing that I've got a series of email messages to send, I was excited about that. That's kind of nonsense, isn't it?
Well, no, I feel you.
But I'd like to type those things out and send them, and when I've got those things waiting to write, it just gives me purpose.
Yeah.
How do you battle getting stuck, or how do you not get stuck?
Writer's block.
I go out and mow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get on a piece of machinery. It's the same. When I'm in the
That's
hayfield
significant.
going in
Yeah.
circles, it's like, man, I'm suddenly a genius somehow. I'm not paying it. And then I'll send them all kinds of ideas, and none of them respond. I'm like, you some bitches.
Hey, I'd come into the sheriff's office some mornings, and I'd summon the guys who were in the admin, say, hey, I need to have a meeting with you guys, and they'd say, the sheriff's been mowing again.
I found this video. Okay, let's refresh it and start it over because it's.
President Trump doesn't seem to understand is that crime is something normal in Chicago. It's a tradition. We're all criminals here. I'm a criminal. This Wakanda guy is a criminal. This bitch with the white hair, she's black and she lives in Chicago, so she's probably a criminal. Just let us live peacefully in our crime-ridden shithole, okay? We don't want you here. Thank you.
So this is not a real video.
That's not real at all.
Not a real video. But
Let's put
funny.
that disclaimer out there that it has been doctored. It is not real.
But it does make sense.
Yeah.
If you just think about the way that they try to fight some of the stuff that come across. I mean, it totally makes sense.
Yeah. So that's
really what they're saying.
That was the part of my message is if you can get everybody on one team, which it doesn't happen state to state, but if you've got the federal team working, then the good things can happen.
Yeah, it's nice. We didn't have the help the last 4 years of my term. We didn't have the help of the feds, other than we did the FBI from time to time. But when it came to illegal aliens, they wouldn't have anything to do with us. Sometimes they wouldn't even come get them. We had them in the jail ready to go, but they wouldn't come get them.
Wow.
What the hell do you do with them then?
Just send them home, wherever that may be. Just put them. I mean, if we can't keep them in jail, we just put them out for a little while, and they'll end up back in jail.
End up back in there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So we'd keep them as long as we could legally.
And when you say send them home,
just put them out the doors.
Right. Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm seeing your note, Chance, that you've added here, and you must be thinking along the same lines as I am. So I want to go there.
There's about 40 notes on the board that you want to.
You're gonna have to.
No, you added it since we started.
Oh, okay, the one that is right here.
Yeah. Because I want to take that and run with it.
I've added it, but I have a proposal to ask it in a different way.
Okay.
Lane, do you have an appreciation for the bad guys? You notice he took a big gulp of whiskey.
I do.
Okay.
And I think you've got to have a relationship with them to some extent. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you want to go home and take a shower.
Yeah.
But I do understand a lot of those people were in a tough spot because of things that have happened to them in their lives. So I appreciate them, but what I expected out of them was the truth, and generally they didn't want to give the truth. Mm-hmm. So when you spend maybe 8-10 hours with the same guy who you know would kill somebody, to get him to the point because he doesn't lawyer up, so he's ready to talk. So you spend that time getting to know the guy, and you try to find a way in so that they'll give up the information. And then finally, when you get to that point and you've got their confession on paper or on audio or on video, they're cooked. And it did bother me a little bit. Mm-hmm. I did appreciate the fact that they told me what they did and they gave me a little bit of association with them that maybe I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah.
And I, of course, that happened even more so when I was working undercover. There are a couple of guys I just really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I hated that they're going to find out at one point I've been the law enforcement guy.
You're not who's going to say they are.
You're not on their side.
Yeah. So that was really tough too. There were so many times that I got to the point, well, just like this next book that I'm writing, he and I really had common ground because we both loved Tom Clancy books.
That's great.
And so we had a lot of conversation over his books, which is what brought him to basically confess to multiple murders. So you can't go in there hating those people. And some of them are sociopaths, and they'll never do anything. They'll flatline the polygraph. So I do appreciate, to some extent, of course, that's how I got paid, catching the bad guys.
Yeah.
But there were some that were so dang evil that they just really made me sick.
We know one of them for sure, but yeah, there are others that you just don't cross that line of trying to empathize with, I'm sure, at all.
Yeah. Well, you've got to empathize to get the confession.
Okay.
And then after that, far, far away.
Yeah.
I've done my job. You've done what you've done, and now you're going to pay for it.
I remember finally taking you up on your offer to tour the jail, which I highly recommend for anybody. It's the probably best way to keep your ass out of jail is just by going and taking a tour through jail.
So
they're not the cozy little
daughters.
Yeah. I told him, I said, every outgoing high school senior class field trip through the jail, because it's not the cozy little stone wall and bars you see in.
I don't know about senior, like maybe middle school going in.
Yeah, every year. I don't care. Every year.
When they need to go take that trip.
But after I left, I was like, man, I don't want to screw up at all.
Yeah, so they got to be 17.
Okay.
And then they can march through there.
Okay, so senior, there you go, senior class. So the one that murdered Athena was in there, and I remember you asking, you want to see him? I'm like, I don't want to look at that. That's evil I do not want to peer into.
Yeah. It's so one thing I appreciated about your storytelling, okay, and I've been making notes all along, so bear with me as I try to kind of trammel through these notes. But you develop your hero, but you almost develop your hero by virtue of the anti-hero. Okay, so and that seemed to be what you did in the book, and it was at the time it carries like it carried a certain grit that was almost like Batman to me. It's like Batman is great. Anybody can like describe Batman, but whenever you describe Joker and then you say what Batman was battling, that was so much more significant. And it was like that with your storytelling as well. But I thought that was just a powerful part of the story, is like the anti-hero, okay, found power through meth, but the anti-hero wasn't actually powerful because of meth. He was battling demons of his own, and then the hero comes to light by virtue of that. Does that make sense?
Yes, I know what you're saying. Because of what he had experienced, he ended up doing what he was doing, and that's a true character, and the things that happened to him. So, but still, you taking it to another level, especially in this book. You've gone to another level, and you can't really forgive them for that, because if they have violated the law to that level, then, see you later. You're going to prison. Maybe you're going to be there forever, or maybe you won't make it to prison because something could happen between here and there.
I think, follow that one up. I think you were also touching on the anti-hero part of his own conflicts with his personal life, which you touched on a little bit, like his own personal demons of not being at home enough, not being a dad that's around enough. Is that part of what you're trying to wrap up? Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't.
He's like this dark character that's engaged in this criminal underbelly, but also someone you can really, really empathize with and relate to.
Yeah. It carried depth too, because the bad guy had significant parts to where you relate to him.
Yeah,
and then the good guy
is an understatement.
and then the main character had kind of significant demons that he was grappling with himself.
Yeah.
And not that there was a main character, but I would say multiple heroes through the story. So that was cool. But it wasn't all just glorious good. Like the good is good and the bad is bad. Like there is some complexity there.
Yeah. Well, and that's the way it was. I think that has changed a little bit since then, and I think for good reasons. But sometimes the good guys are bad. Sometimes the bad guys are good.
For very similar reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On that same subject, but outlaws, bad guys, you don't have the legends of lawmen and the legends of outlaws without these stories. You don't have the contrast of like good people and bad people without, like, you don't know what a good society is, but if it wasn't for some pretty terrible ones that came through. So they offer some
white hats versus black hats.
Yeah, they offer some genuine.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
Virtue for society, but it sounds like you also believe in redemption too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, I do. And there's one person, and of course I don't know that this is touched on it. There's one person in the book itself who I can certainly relate with, and that she was in a tough spot, and she put herself in that spot, but she was able to get out of it with the help of some good people.
Yes.
And some of those good people were not always on the righteous side. But it's something anytime that you can get to the point that you can rescue somebody like that in that situation. I mean, those are the things you live for, absolutely live for in law enforcement, when you're able to correct what has happened. And it's kind of hard because, I can't really go too much detail.
No spoilers. Right.
Have to do some editing if you.
Yeah, we don't do editing on this show.
Yeah. So what'd you think as a young officer? Like, if a young officer were to pick up this
never
book?
mind, Heath. I was going to give him the floor for this one.
Go for it, dude.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
You sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What's the one thing you hope sticks with them, like 20 years from now?
Sticks with who?
Like if a young officer was to pick this book up 20 years from now, what do you hope your book is? What do you? I think it's like, what do you hope sticks with that young, maybe fresh out of school or fresh into narcotics or
very impressionable?
Yeah. What do you hope sticks with him?
Yeah, I hope they see how difficult it was with the labs here in Texas. I hope that they understand that, but I also hope that they will have the fervor to try to make things right, to make a difference. That's basically it. I've cobbled together these stories, several things that I've experienced through my time, basically in undercover work. And I don't know. In fact, DPS doesn't have narcotics division anymore, which is a shame because I really needed those guys, and they were not there to help me as a sheriff.
Why do they not have that anymore?
The new director came in. He just changed everything into CID, and so there are no guys who specialize in
narcs,
in methamphetamine, narcotics.
CID.
Yeah, CID.
What does that stand for?
Criminal Investigation Division.
Okay.
So they don't specialize in that anymore. And I tried to get them to help me, but I couldn't.
So who would handle that? Those type of investigations?
Well, so we had a guy working with DEA.
Okay.
And they've been a big help, as well as we had some local guys too who could come in from other agencies to do undercover stuff. But the vast majority of the things that we do now, or that they do now, I'm not we anymore, that they do now, has to do with informants, and then moving on search warrants and that kind of thing. So there's not a lot of, I don't think, at least from my observation, there's not a lot of undercover work going on.
Okay.
Anymore.
Wow.
That you can speak of.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that. So the question, Heath, was what do you hope that these guys in law enforcement
learn?
If
they pick up that book.
Yeah, I hope they understand the dedication of the guys, not me, but the guys who worked in that era, and how they were relentless, and I hope they have the same fervor that we did.
Not just for the money.
No, yeah. No,
do it for the passion and for the conviction.
Just making it a better place.
Right. Nice.
Better place to live, work, worship, and play.
Amen.
I like that.
Which live, work, worship,
and
play. Faith.
Got to have play
family,
too.
profession. That. So that's a theme throughout the book: faith, family, profession, in that order.
Yeah.
Yeah, those words were echoed many times throughout the book.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you hope readers take, from that as kind of the final word? It's like there's a certain order there, right?
Faith, family,
profession.
Yeah.
Is that order like intentional?
Yes.
Okay.
So we had leadership training every third and fourth Wednesday of every month at the sheriff's office. And between each chapter that was up there, faith, family, profession, to teach those youngsters, keep your priorities. And it's important to me. Of course, those may not be their priorities, but they're mine. And I preached them a little bit because I have found that in those situations where you need to be sent to counseling because it's a bad old deal and you saw some things you never thought you would see, but because of the faith, I never felt the need. They forced me to go to some stuff I didn't want to go to, but they forced me to. So I could tell y'all a story on that.
We have time. We're here for it. Yes.
So I was down at that Branch Davidian thing for about 3 or 4 months, and finally we got to come back home after it burned down, and we did crime scene stuff, work on it, and picked up all the bodies, zipped them in bags, and send them off to the medical.
As a ranger, right? You're a ranger at this point? Okay,
yeah, so we were building a house right on 2224. And so I finally got through that. I was there on March 2nd. It happened on February 28th, 1993. I was there on March 2nd. And I came home about June 15th. And we were building a house. And I was going to put like 1,000 square feet of saltillo tile. And I had to get that done as quickly as possible because of the upcoming payments that I was going to have to make. We had a deadline, for the mortgage. So we had
and saltillo tile made a showing in the book too.
Yeah.
It did. Yes, it did. Sure did.
Yeah. So I rolled home that night, and that next day, the whole family. I mean, we had it set up, ready to go. We're going to start putting this saltillo tile down. I knew what I was doing. I thought I knew what I was doing. And we started that deal, and my pager came on. And so I go out to the car because I had a bag phone. I didn't have a cell phone. And I called the captain, David Burns, over in the Garland office. He said, Lane, you need to be in Garland. No, he said, you need to be in Austin Monday morning. And here it is Saturday. And I said, I can't. I'm too busy. I said that to the captain. He said, What'd you say, Akin? I said, sir, I'm busy. I've got some stuff I need to do. He said, I don't care, Akin. Whatever you're doing, you're going to be in Austin Monday morning. Do you understand? For what, Captain? Because we need you to have some counseling for what you guys have gone through. And I said, Captain, if you've got some saltillo tile counseling, I'll take it, but I don't need any other. He said, you don't understand. You're going to be there, Akin. And I said, okay. So we worked through Saturday and Sunday and got it done so that the inspector could come look at it. My wife had to do it because I'm now down in Austin listening to counselors about what we've seen and what we should do about it. So that goes back to faith. Mm-hmm. I had that feeling already because those kids, I think there were about 19 of them. Those kids were in a terrible environment, and they basically cooked inside a Haitite block, concrete block that was left standing, which was a terrible scene. But those kids, to me, were in a better place. Mm-hmm. So that gave me a lot of solace. And then right after that, you got family, because I wasn't always there. I want you guys and gals who work for the sheriff's office, I want you to be there and not be stupid like me. And then finally, profession. The job.
Yeah, the job.
Mm-hmm.
The responsibility.
Yes, not power. Responsibility.
Give me one sentence in what faith means to you.
You should have given this to me earlier.
It wasn't on the. That's not fair. It wasn't on the board.
No, it's not. You know, it just, my faith is everything to me.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how bad the situation is, I can overcome that because of my faith.
I also pick up that it's multidimensional for you too, and I think I correlate with that because it's faith in a higher power, a heaven, a God, or your religious convictions, but it's also faith in good.
Yes.
Faith in good, which, God can represent, but also so can mankind. So it's faith that there's always good.
Yes.
Okay. I thought that might wrap that up.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Words of wisdom, though. I mean, not just for law enforcement people, just for...
Well, yeah, I think so. It's most everybody needs that, and I hope that the folks have some semblance of faith, because I'd hate to think, I'd hate to think that I'm walking this earth and it's just over. Yeah. And I've got something to look forward to, because this is a fractured world in which we live. And when we leave here, we're exchanging this for perfection, and that just means the world to me. And it gives me a lot of calmness of mind and heart, whether it's an ablation or not.
That's right.
So I'm ready to go. Whatever it may be. And this another thing. These things that I'm writing, the stories that I've experienced, and that I want to share with the public in general. I want to leave a little something behind, so that they'll have an understanding about what we in law enforcement have done and some of the difficulties that we faced. But I do hope that they in fact, this one, is a little cleaner. The one I'm working on now is a little cleaner than the.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
I was looking
because there's really no methamphetamine in this one. Methamphetamine was a dirty, nasty world.
Yeah.
But in this one, there's nothing but serial killer. So there are a few murders, and so it's just a little more wholesome, Okay.
Yeah.
So that maybe
how can you correlate wholesome and serial killer? I'm interested. Yeah, I'm like, my curiosness is piqued.
It's because of the serial killer and the things that he's done, which are bad.
Okay.
True story. And then you've got the good guys over here who feel like I do about faith, family, and profession.
Okay. Did you ever watch the Dexter show?
No, I don't think I've seen that.
Dexter was it's still going, actually. Dexter was a fantastic show. The guy was a bloodthirsty serial killer, but he corralled his profession, I guess, into being a vigilante, and he was a serial killer for bad people.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting twist on the serial killer. I don't know if that's what the next book is about, but
that's going to be interesting. You said October.
Yeah. So that's it all started with a robbery, aggravated robbery, up on the courthouse square, well down the hill on courthouse square. So it all started there, and it ended up with a serial killer, and it was a relentless pursuit of a serial killer. That's the catch line.
Well, I can't wait. It ought to be a good story.
Okay, so the point was 40 years in the making.
Yes.
How many years in the making is the sequel?
Well, this one is 8 months.
Okay.
So, of course, waiting on the editor to finish up. It may make it could be 9 months and be ready to go. I started right after the first of the year.
Okay.
Deadlines are tough.
Yeah.
Especially when you're married to the deadline. I can't imagine. Really, I can't.
Yeah.
I've been married for 53 years, though.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
This one follows with some of the characters from the first book, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is this one inspired by real events?
Yes.
Okay.
True stories.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, and some of these people in town, and in fact, there are two heroes here in town, and I went to the funeral of one of them, and I don't really want to say their names, but they, two witnesses, citizens of Wise County, citizens of Decatur, they put us on the guy. They didn't know it, but they put us on the guy, and I'll never forget them. They went under hypnosis to remember what happened.
Wow.
This was on November 11th, 1994.
There's some legitimacy to hypnosis then?
Yes.
Do you know a hypnosis? What's a hypnosis expert? What are they called? A hypnotist?
Hypnotist.
Yeah.
Can they shed about 100 pounds off me?
It's an investigative hypnosis.
Okay, so there's different angles to that profession.
So I was a card-carrying hypnotist.
Interesting.
Do you still have it? We have time.
I was going to say,
Can you knock him out real quick?
I think maybe it's lapsed. I'm not sure. But it was just for investigations, and it really worked. I saw it in many, many occasions, and which is what it was here, because we were looking for this suspect, and there were a couple of people who saw a truck, but they couldn't remember much about it. But under hypnosis, they remembered a lot.
So you're getting into the deep subconscious or deep compartmentalization, where they wouldn't. Yeah. You're pulling out total memory recall.
Yeah. So this one guy, we buried him about 6 months ago up in Oklahoma, and I went to the funeral. And most of the folks there in the funeral didn't know who I was, why I was there. But I thought the world of this guy. Y'all would know him maybe offline. We'll talk about who he is, who he was. Great guy. But they gave us an opportunity to speak, and I went up there and told them that what he had done and the lives that he has saved, and it just really. I think it really struck those people in the audience.
That's awesome.
Recognizing that their father, their uncle, their friend, their classmate actually saved lives for what he did.
Community hero.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, he's a good guy. Y'all, I think y'all will know him.
Okay. Yeah, we'll figure it out afterwards. Yeah. Hypnosis. How does that hold up in court testimony?
Well, the whole thing, and of course, I don't know if it's changed since I retired from DPS and Texas Ranger in 2003. So everything has got to be on audio and video.
Okay.
From beginning to end, and you don't have any contact with that person again. You may, but you never talk about the case again.
Okay.
So once you had that, you're good to go. And then the defense could look at it and see, have you done anything to try to lead these people? Have you fed something to them so that they would tell you what you want them to say? And it worked out very well.
I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah.
I've always teetered on believing it is authentic or is complete bullshit that you see in Hollywood.
Well, so yeah, a lot of it is just straight running bullshit.
Okay.
There's no doubt.
The stage stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what this is, what I would tell people every time I'd bring one in for an interview. And so if it's your case, you can't do the interview. So you have to bring somebody else who knows nothing about the case.
That's understandable.
To talk to that person about what they saw and what happened that night. So when they talk to law enforcement, they get a little bit spooked, a little bit uptight.
Yeah, yeah.
So then all you do is you bring them in, you tell them, say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to count down from 10 to 1, 10 to 0, and you're going to want to relax. The words that I say, you'll feel well at home and very safe. No harm will come to you. And then you just talk them down. And so all it is relaxed interview. It's just a matter of us being on a tractor or being on a mower. It's the same thing. Those things come to your mind. I mean, you've had those times when you remembered something, then you lost it and you couldn't remember it, until you're out there on that tractor. Then So that's exactly what it is. It's just relaxed interview. And every time, I bet I did over time probably 100, 150 sessions. And I got a little more information every time. But on this one specifically, of course, I couldn't do the interview. It was another guy who did the interview for me on video. It took us to the suspect.
That's fascinating.
Wow.
And then once you got to the suspect, all the other evidence.
Yes. Yeah.
Formed. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Can I tell you
I can't wait.
Can I tell you my favorite character in the book?
Yeah.
It had to be Sam Thorpe. I don't know if you can reveal who the real life person is. If not, that's totally fine. But Sam makes spotted appearances throughout the book. In the last 10 chapters or so, he's really involved. And Sam's personality and I just jived. I was like, I can nail this dude. You did. I took him very sincerely. Who's your favorite character?
Yeah, the old lady with the porch.
Oh yeah,
that the widow. And you have to. Man, you're going to have to read the book to understand what I'm talking about here, but you'll know.
Now, are you far enough in to have a favorite character yet?
No. I'm not all the way through it yet.
Okay.
Nope.
Who is your favorite character?
Kate.
Okay. A lot of reasons to like Kate. We'll just leave it at that.
I know.
But I do like Sam, and sure enough, he was a bona fide lieutenant in the DPS narcotics.
Yeah.
Frank. I can't forget about Frank.
Womack?
I really like Frank.
Yeah.
It's like there's some level of old grit that you just don't see anymore, except through characters like that.
Yeah, so he was a good one. I spoke to his daughter not too terribly long ago. She knew that he was in the story.
Okay.
And she had read it, and she really appreciated it.
Awesome.
Frank Womack.
You said a lot of these characters, or people that these characters are based off of, are now passed and gone?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, Frank, he's gone. And Sam, we lost him about 6 months ago.
Jeez. Did he know he was in the book?
Yes.
Okay.
I got a letter from him. Not a letter, but I think it was an email from him. He was proud of that. So he was a guy.
Man, I wish I could have met the real life Sam Thorpe now.
He's my wife's favorite too.
He's so good. Sam is fantastic.
Yeah.
But
so the guy in the Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah,
we buried him about 3 or 4 months ago too.
Okay.
Yeah, he was quite a character.
What is are these guys your age or are they older?
No, they're older.
Okay. Yeah, because they were all older mentors in the book. So okay. Like, dang, what is going on with the rash of people dying around you, Lane? Nope, it's their time to go home.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. We covered the faith, family, profession pretty well. So
yeah. So if you listen to this book,
or read it,
or preferably read it out loud.
on your back porch
on
with
your
the
back
neighbors
porch.
listening.
Yes, with your neighbors listening.
Or in a coffee
That's the
shop.
best way. That's the best way. Then and you have thoughts, let us know.
Yeah,
and we'll circle back on this.
And please leave a review.
Yeah.
But Lane, can you tell us, remind us again what the sequel is going to be named?
The sequel is named Texas Ranger, Wise County.
Okay.
A relentless pursuit of a serial killer.
Okay.
But on the audiobook, I've got a lot of friends who picked that up, and I have gotten nothing but solid praise on the work that y'all have done. So I encourage others to take time to read it when you're going down the road, you're mowing your pasture, whatever you're doing, listen to it. And it's just a really good time to spend a little time in your car listening to the wisdom of the things that you guys have done.
So, sir, where is the physical book available to buy?
On Amazon.
Okay.
The point is on Amazon. You can look up just under Lane Akin or The Point, and then you usually have to add the part about dawn of the Texas Meth War.
Yeah. We've told people that, like, when you search for it, search the name and then search the author's name in Lane Akin, or search the dawn of the Texas Meth War, because it's so new.
Yeah, it's easier just to search your name.
Yeah.
But you'll know it when you see it.
Yeah.
The name and the author. But the cover is a stark red, black, white meth needle and a spoon. Like, you're not going to miss it once you know it.
Yeah.
It's there. And then, the audiobook is available on all platforms right now except for
Spotify.
I don't know.
Those guys, man.
So what's up?
They are fleshing out the 45-day
when you're the biggest dog on the block, you don't really care too much, I think, is the problem. But it's just they don't just get hurt. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But, I mean,
I don't know.
I think we're like 6 days to their limit, so we'll see.
So I know there's a link on y'all's website as well as your Facebook page.
Yep. And then we'll have we're having another Facebook page created. We have a social media manager that will be putting out the Point stuff and any works that we're affiliated with.
Yeah.
Our website is Euphony Productions. You want to spell that?
Yes.
Eapony.
Eapony.
Don't spell it like that. You won't get to the right place. I don't know where you'll get to if you...
Yeah. EUPHONY. Productions.
.net.
.net.
Not .com, not .org, .net.
Yep.
Or go to our Facebook page.
Yeah, that too. That works.
Yeah.
But you'll find the link to the physical book, audiobooks, everything's there.
Yep.
Probably a link to the episode of this show so you can get familiarized with Lane and all your work that you've done in the past. And
we'll put it in the show notes.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely in the show notes.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you. Well, you're amazing too. I mean, like I said, we don't exist without good source material.
Yeah, that's right.
So thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
And thanks for everything that you've done in the past. The world's a better place because of people like you. And I sincerely mean that. I'm not just here to kiss ass. Like, when you know a good person, you know a good person.
Thank you.
right.
Thank you
You've made a world of difference. So thanks for coming back on.
It's my pleasure.
Maybe
always good seeing you guys.
Maybe this time again next year with follow up for the next book.
Texas Ranger. Yeah. I'm really excited about the second one because it's a home.
Yeah, it's right here in Homa, and
so.
I hope it's hardback, so maybe we can get some folks around here to buy it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Adios.
Good night.
You've been listening to the Whiskey Bros Around the Table. Gracias por convivir con los hermanos Whiskey.